Well, good morning and welcome to the Sports Bar Show. Chewing the fat and talking balls on this Friday morning, and I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw him on the other side of the camera. Because if I press this as I usually do, it's a glorious day in Bacup. What's going on over there?
Tell you, this is just to prove that we do get sunshine and blue skies in Bacup.
Absolutely.
It's not always under that dark cloud that we seem to think. It's ironic. Since there's been no football, I think we've only had 3 days rain.
I know
It's mad.
it's absolutely crazy. As my dad would say, it's cracking flags, isn't it?
It is. It's lovely out here. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I can't show you, but the hills are alive. It's on days like this that people absolutely love being in Bacup when they see the backdrop. It's lovely.
It
It
is
really
because
is.
quite a few ground hoppers over the years have put it on their social media pages saying it's quite picturesque in it when you've got a day like that and you can play football and have a pie and a pint and enjoy your footy.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and you know what? I went for a walk last night with me grandson. It's hard for people to recognise this, but I went for a walk further down the valley where I live, the Rosendale Valley, and I went on the top of the hill, going up to a place called Low Lodge. And when you get right onto the top of the hill, you could overlook. It overlooks Newchurch and where Rosendale United's ground used to be. And it broke my heart just looking over there because the bulldozers were there. It's scandalous how that that were a picturesque ground with Dart Lane.
Yeah,
It were in a great setting, great backdrop, everything about it. And I'm looking over and I'm thinking, what an absolute shame. All you see there is bulldozers, ready to build houses on it. It's frightening. And this brings me to unfortunately, with the situation that everybody's in, if we're not careful and nothing happens very, very quickly, I think there'll be a few more football pitches with bulldozers on and houses being built. If we're not proactive, or people at the powers that be aren't proactive, because it's a worrying time for all football at the minute.
well, it is. We've touched upon it over the last couple of weeks. Probably people are sick of us talking about it, but it's a subject that needs to get spoken about. It needs to get out there because these are uncertain times, Brent. None of us know when we're going to be playing football again. The powers that be don't seem to be relaying any kind of information or giving clubs any kind of guidance at the moment as to what the future holds.
Well, I can't knock the leagues because the leagues it's like everything else. The leagues are only can take advice and give updates as they're getting the updates. What I think is a scandal at the minute, and I really feel strongly about this, is that again there's no league. Forget that. Look, the Barclays Premier League and the EFL League will look at, and to a point the national leagues, they will look after themselves. I mean, we've seen that. What's happened? I mean, the National League have come out only yesterday, and they've decided now that they're null and void in their season. It'll be interesting to see when they're going to go to the clubs to vote how they're going to kind of formulate the remaining games that they should have been, and it'll be interesting to see if that vote goes to a points per game situation. Now, as we know, and what's been well documented, the National League system, headed by Mr. Is it Lawrence Jones? Am I right in saying?
Yeah, that's right.
In saying that, Lawrence Jones. Now, they were handy and this is what all the trouble's been about. They were handy of kind of keeping step 5, 6, and 7 clubs out of the loop when it came to voting, even though they said that they were in the loop. But according to, and I know I'd sooner believe the Northwest Counties Football League chairman Paul Lawler than I would listening to what they do, because I think they've got hidden agendas down there. And it seems to me that they hurriedly made a decision that had to be ratified by the FA that the decision were that we null and void the season, and it's been agreed by all the clubs that it's going to be expunge all the records. That's it. The season's finished. Now they made that decision. They made that decision before it went to the FA to be ratified. Now, when I look into this, it looks like to me that they've got carte blanche, that they can make decisions for the benefit of the clubs, probably outside step 3. So you've got step 4, you've got step 5, you've got step 6, and you've got step 7. Now they can make decisions, and then when they've made decisions, they just go to the FA to get it rubber stamped. So when people start bleating and saying, "Oh, the FA this and the FA that," I don't believe it's the FA this and the FA that, because the FA are just the final kind of ink in the pen, if you know what I mean. That they say, right, yeah, has all the clubs agreed to it? Have they voted on it? Is that what you're doing? Okay, well we'll agree with the clubs. That's kind of what happens as I see it. So in this instance, if that's the case, and we all know now that we've gone down the road of, although it's not been put to bed properly, because there's clubs out there like South Shields who are really, really going to task with them on certain things, points that haven't been answered. But my point is in this is that if they're the kind of governing body for non-league teams from step 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, in my opinion, if I'm a leader, this is me now, if I'm a leader, I would make it my way, because I'm not bothered about what's happening with the EFL or the Barclays Premier League, because it's a different ball game with them people. But if I'm a leader, I would be seeking regular updates from the Ministry of Sport to find out, to find out any direction there may be that we can, us clubs. So basically, even if that came every 2 week updates of what's happening, so that we can know where we're going as clubs. So then what would happen then? Lawrence Jones, in my opinion, if he's supposed to be the leader he strives to be, right, he should be out there speaking to the Ministry of Sport. He should be getting updates from obviously they're from the government.
Yeah.
Of when they see light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's difficult at the minute because nobody's seen any light at the end of the tunnel, but at least he's getting stuff from the horse's mouth, and at least he can report back to the league's chairman, and the league's chairman can report back to the clubs, and those clubs can start planning.
Yeah.
Because at the minute, and it's a right mess.
Well, at the minute, Brent, we have a situation where we can't plan anything for the future because nobody knows what the future holds.
Well, look at that. I'm nearly right in saying that we should have been playing AFC Blackpool tomorrow here at Bay Cup. That would have been the last home game, the last game of our season. That's what would have happened, right? Now, under normal circumstances, we know it's the last home game. So what happens is, usually what happens, we give our lads a break for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back in touch with them, talking to them about the way forward and what we're doing for next season. You have your presentation evenings, you've got the AGM at the league where they've got to formulate all the new registration forms and all the rules and regulations that's going to come in. That usually happens in June, and obviously it's the league presentation night. And then everybody's usually back for 1st of July for pre-season training, and then from pre-season training you go into your pre-season friendlies, and then you're kicking off the season at the beginning of August. So we know there's a means to an end under normal circumstances, and in between that's just like looking, but looking on the playing side. But in between that, the clubs, as a club, you've got to plan about all the work that you need, all your remedial work that you need to do on your ground. So some clubs will have more work than other clubs to do. If there's a new draining system got to go into your pitch, so your pitch has got to be dug up, and kind of things like that. If you're having work done on the stands or putting an extension up, you've all that work to do, and you've only got a kind of small window, 12-week window to get all this finalised before you're off and running ready for the new season. Now then, I'm seeing it all over the place at the minute. People are arranging pre-season. I mean, we've arranged. I mean, not because I've gone out and arranged a pre-season friendly, but a club has approached us, and a few clubs have approached us, but one club in particular approached us, and we've penciled it in. But is it premature? Because we kind of don't. Nobody knows. It's no good having pre-season friendlies in kind of July and back training in July, but your season's not going to kick off all January.
No.
Because let's be honest, I'm hearing, seriously, these are the vibes I'm hearing. And they're coming from good sources. I know for a fact that what's supposed to be happening kind of in the Premier League, this is, unless things change, but at this moment in time, this is what I'm being told's happening. I know that there's Premier League clubs, one in particular that I'm kind of close to and get information about, are reporting back. I think it's 11th of May. They're due to report back in. They're doing a couple of weeks where they're getting back on track with the training schedules, although they've been keeping fit. And from that, they're supposed to be picking the season up to finish the season off. Behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So games will be streamed, I would imagine, streamed into your home so that you can watch the games. Yeah, they're going to be streamed. And then I'm being told that they're going to, which is something we touched on a few weeks ago on the podcast. Then I'm being told that what's going to then happen is they're going to take a couple of week break before they go into the new season. But I'm being told, and this is the worrying part, I'm being told the new season is going to start in September. This is for the Premier League clubs, and probably the EFL will follow. It's going to start in September, but it's going to be behind closed doors until January. Now, if that's the case, that I can't see there being any non-league football until January.
No. So it's looking... it's looking pretty much like there might not even be a season next season. It might be what we were speaking about the other day on a previous podcast, on a previous show, that we could be looking at mini tournaments rather than a full-scale league campaign.
Well, this is what... Listen. There's a lot of things change by the week out there. I listened to the update for the coronavirus on Wednesday, and the guy turned around and said quite openly, it's not going to be a quick fix. This we can't have social gatherings for a long time. This is basically what he said. You can play it back on Wednesday's edition, around about 6:00. Social gatherings are not going to, we're going to have to ease people back in, and social gatherings are going to be are going to be a thing of the past initially, right? We can't be having that. We can't be having it. And he talked about there's probably going to be a new wave is going to come. There's another wave of this coronavirus due round about November, December. So if they're predicting another wave of it coming round about that time, are the powers that be gonna risk starting a football season?
No.
It's not going to happen because they don't want this disruption that we've just already had. So I can't see that happening. Now, all we're doing on this show, and everybody does on this, they have their own, every club has their own podcast shows or whatever. All we can do is speculate. It's opinions. Now, I'm probably more fortunate than others that I've got my ear close to the ground by I've got good contacts in the game, so I can pick certain things up and put two and two together. But I'm a realist, and I'm thinking to myself, listen, if they're not going to allow Premiership games Barclays Premiership games to be, or the EFL games to be in open stadiums until after Christmas, then how on earth, and this is my point, are they going to allow non-league football? They're not, because let's be honest, we've got Burnley over the hill, and we know that we've got a lot better Burnley supporters in Bake-Up and around. And when Burnley kick off early and it goes inside and we kick off late, so like we have a 3 o'clock kick-off, Burnley say have an 11 o'clock kick-off or 12 o'clock kick-off, around 12 o'clock kick-off, they get back hurriedly, they get back and still get the Bake-Up game in,
Yeah.
right? Because the staunch there's the staunch Burnley supporters, but they take an interest in Bake-Up Borough. So let's be honest about this. If they're turning around and banning people going in stadiums until January, and they keep the non-league and they allow the non-league to start in September or August when it would normally start, they're defeating the whole object, because all of a sudden, for like 120 people arriving at the Brian Boys Westview Stadium, you're looking at probably up to 500 people arriving at the Brian Boys Westview Stadium, because these people who go and watch Burnley will come and get a football fix.
Yeah,
And
everyone's going to want the football fix, and they're going to come down the footballing pyramid to the non-league game. But of course, we're not going to be allowed to do the. It's got to be self-isolation and distancing.
Correct. So you've just got to look at it that way and think to yourself, well, if that's not going to happen, and if, let's be honest, if they did turn around and relax it for non-league, which they can't do, it's impossible. If I were Burnley or I were Rochdale or I were Accrington Stanley, I'd be going mad, because I'd be saying, well, what's the point of doing that? Letting non-league teams play. I mean, there's more chance you couldn't. It's like at least you can control crowds in a football league stadium. You can't control crowd. You can to a point control crowds here, but I'm not being funny. There's certain points over there where I know where they are, where you can get over a wall, you can get through a wall, you can be in the stadium from outside. Do you know what I'm saying?
Even the Badgers can get into Westview.
You tell me about it. Hey, and the wily old foxes can too. There's plenty of them.
Brent, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with part 2 in about 5 minutes' time, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I'll just get sunburnt.
Yeah, put up some factor 50 on that slap head.
Hey, listen, nothing wrong with that. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.